Hi everyone, we have here relationship advice with Grace, and this is where we share faith-based Christian ideas and advice for those who are in a relationship or those who are yet to be in a relationship. So what are we going to discuss today? Alright, so we dive into today's topic, which is emotional abuse and emotional trauma. You know the funniest part of it all is that a lot of people, a lot of girls do not know that they're actually going through emotional abuse or emotional trauma, because it's not something you know. It's not something you are aware of. It's not something that you can just wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm going through this. Okay, so it's like, I don't know how to put it, but it's like, the case whereby we are watering a nursery plant. So a nursery plant, you know how it is when you keep watering it start growing. That is the same thing. That is how this emotional trauma arises. You won't know that yes, you're suffering from this particular thing, but by the time it comes, by the time it starts growing, you start seeing yourself in some kind of activities that you're not supposed to do. You start, everything about you starts going down. So I just want to let everyone know that relationships, not all relationships can be a cause of this emotional abuse. Some can be from peer pressure, some can be from family and friends, but I'll actually be focusing on relationship. So let me share my life experience with you. I was once in a relationship where I was emotionally traumatized, and guess what? I didn't even realize that I was, but I knew something was eating me up. I knew there was something that I haven't faced the reality. I don't know if someone gets like, there was actually something at that point in time. I was trying to discover, what is this thing that I'm yet to experience? What is this thing that is eating me up, but I'm yet to identify it? So I thought, okay, maybe I was just sad, or maybe I was just being paranoid, but then I realized that I wasn't being paranoid, I wasn't acting crazy. I was actually suffering from emotional abuse. So how did I even realize? And the funny part is, it was even when I left the relationship and then I realized that, I was going through this particular thing. I was going through this particular abuse. I didn't even know what it was. So you won't realize it until some certain point in time of your life. That is when you realize, that is when you realize, this is what I'm going through. This is that. And many women right now are suffering from it, but they are just still in that relationship. Why? Because there is something that is keeping them back in that relationship. So emotional abuse, this is when you are emotionally abused, like you are suffering from emotional trauma. I don't know how I will put it, but it's as if your body is functioning, but your mind has been broken. So it's as if your body is functioning, but your mind has been broken, your voice has been taken away. So emotional abuse, it causes a lot of damage to young women. And one of those damages is it makes them lose their identity. When you're emotionally abused, you feel like, I don't have an identity of my own. I'm nobody. Why? Because the relationship they're in has reduced the inner part of it. It's like you're in a relationship whereby your voice is not heard. Maybe you're trying to share an advice to your partner in that relationship, and then he's like, he doesn't collect advice from you. That reduces your self-esteem. Because why? This person has silenced you. Why? Because the advice that you're giving to this person, you it's a good advice, but to the person it seems important. Why? Because the person is someone who doesn't like to take advice, and then you feel like, oh, maybe my advice is not good enough, and then that is when the problem comes up. Even if you have this particular advice to give to the person, but because this particular person out there has shunned you, has told you, oh, you can't do it, then keep your advice to yourself. So that is one stage of you being emotionally abused. Then the next stage is your voice. You lose your voice. Yeah. You tend to lose your voice. And how do you lose your voice? There are a lot of outspoken women out there, but by the time they enter into a relationship, you will notice that, oh, this woman that usually used to be outspoken before has reduced. You will be so curious to ask, oh, how is this woman that is so outspoken? What happened? How did she change? You will know that this woman's voice has been suppressed in that relationship. Yeah, the guy may claim to love her. Yeah, the guy may claim to do this, but there is some kind of love that is shown that looks so abusive. So I was in this relationship with this guy, and I was having a conversation with him one time, and then we were talking, and then I told him, guy, this thing you did, it's not right. And then the guy was like, I beg, I should just forget that thing, that I don't know what I'm saying. And then at that point in time, I felt a cold spine run out. Like I was so shocked. I was dumbfounded. I could not speak again. Why? Because that particular point in time, that guy has silenced my voice. He has silenced my voice. He has made me to know that, oh, what I say doesn't have any impact again. So at that point in time, my voice had been silenced. So during that period of time, I could not. In fact, sometimes I would be so scared to give my advice. Sometimes I'll be so scared to talk to him. And then at that point in time, I found out that I can't even communicate properly with him, because if I start a conversation, he will just immediately shut me up and be like, oh, I don't know what I'm saying. And then I'll be like, I don't like this thing you're saying. And then he'll be like, oh, forget that thing, that I just don't know what I'm saying. So then I started being scared of myself. I started being scared of him. I couldn't raise my voice. I couldn't say, oh, this thing, I don't like it. Sometimes if I see something that he's doing to me that at that point in time I don't like it, I could not speak up. Why? Because he has silenced me. So whatever I say will just be like, oh, I'm just talking to some material thing. So that is what emotional abuse does. So it might be and even at that point in time, I didn't even realize that, oh, I was going through this particular stuff. Yeah, it was when I came out of the relationship, and then I started going through I started watching marriage stuffs, and then I realized that, oh, this is what I was suffering from. What happened during that process? It was growing. It was like a plant that was being watered at that point. So when I came out of it, that was when I realized that, oh, at this point in time I was emotionally traumatized. But thank God I prayed about it, because sometimes that thing will, when it comes to me like this, I will start crying, and then I'll start thinking about my life, and then I'll start regretting, oh God, where did I enter inside of me? But thank God for the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit helped me out. So that thing is just like a seed that is watered, a seed that is being planted. It won't just germinate all of a sudden. It takes time. It's like when you're going through kindergarten stage. That is just how that thing works. You won't realize at that particular time, but you will feel it in your heart that, oh, my heart is heavy. Oh, there is this thing that I do before, but I can't do it anything. Oh, you will feel lost. Yes, you will feel lost. In fact, you will feel so far from your purpose, so far from your calling. You won't be productive at that point in time. Why? Because there is something that is disturbing you psychologically. There is something that is affecting your mind, that is not making your mind to be productive. So when all these issues start coming up to your mind, when all these problems start coming up to your mind, when someone shuns you, and then you the person and it feels okay, just normal, but to you're thinking about it, and then by the time all these start accumulating in your mind, by the time you start thinking about this one, thinking about this one, where then will the productive mind set in? It just cannot work like that. So what you have to do is to try and come out of that relation. What you have to do is to try and erase it off. So emotional abuse, emotional trauma is a very, very dangerous thing. And the funny part, like I said before, it doesn't go overnight. It has stages. So that is why you see some people going into depression. That is why you see some people going into different kind of illness. Why? Because that thing has developed. So if it's not something that is looked into on time, depression comes in. And that is why some people start having mental disorder, psychological issues, and all that. Why? Because their mind has been traumatized, their inner self has been destroyed, their inner identity has been lost, their voice has been silenced. So that is what emotional abuse. This is a very, very dangerous thing. I've experienced it myself, and I knew how dangerous it is, and I thank God, because at that point in time I could see myself as just being a wife. My voice was lost, my identity was lost. But I don't know, like, one thing about that thing is, if you are into it, it looks as if you want to come out, but you cannot come out, because there is something holding you back. There is something in that relationship that is drawing you back. It's a spirit that is making you to stay in that thing, so that you will be drained entirely. And that is why you see some ladies right now, they're having issues in their marriage. They can't speak up when their husband is doing some things that they don't like. They can't speak up. Why? Because their husband has silenced them. Maybe during their dating period they might have realized it, but they will say, oh, he will change. Men who do not listen to advice, men who do not allow you speak up, can never change. They will be that way. You can never change them. That is something they need to work on by themselves. It's not something you can change. So if you notice those kind of people, or you are in a relationship with those kind of people, advise them to work on their self. You can never change them. Instead, you will suffer for it. So I've been in that condition, and I understand what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. They cannot change. Those people who causes emotional trauma to people cannot change unless they themselves work on themselves. And how can they? When they sit down to realize, because you know that sometimes they can do this thing to another person, but they themselves will not feel that, oh, it's something I'm doing that it's hurting this person. But the person who they did it to feels hurt, feels broken. And because of what the person has done, they cannot speak up. Because there is no how someone tells you, oh, this is what happened, let's do this thing, this one. And then the person tells you, you don't know anything, you cannot do it. How then do you want to walk up to this person and tell this person, oh, this is what happened to me and I don't like it? You can't. Why? Because even the advice you're trying to give to the person, he did not listen. Is it now you complaining to him about what he did to you that he will listen? So yeah, at that point in time, you won't realize, oh, this is what is going on with you, and this is how it's disturbing you. Like I said before, it's like a spirit. You want to come out of it, but then you cannot. How that thing works? Let me tell you how it works, because I've been there before. Like I said before, your voice will be silent. So if you feel that, oh, this guy is not treating me well, this guy is not doing the things I want him to do for me, that is the first stage of being traumatized. And then the guy tells you, oh, you cannot do anything, there is nothing you can do. Second stage. And then he'll be like, oh, me, I don't listen to advice, you can't tell me what to do. If you're in a relationship where a man is emotionally abusing you, you have to come out. Okay, so now, how can you be free from emotional abuse, or how can you know if you're going through emotional abuse? The first step to know if you are going through emotional abuse is lack of, voicing out. You can't voice out. Maybe when you're saying some, when you notice that, oh, I can't speak up for something that is right, oh, I've lost my self-esteem. The first one is when you lose your self-esteem, when you lose your ability to speak up, when the potentials in you dies down, when you are unproductive, and when your mind is not at peace. That is when emotional abuse comes in. Then you search yourself, what is this thing that I'm going through, or what has this person done to me that, oh, I'm going through this. But then you look at yourself. What you will do is to pick up a pen, start going through, let your mind rephrase everything he has done, write those things down, and then start looking at it. Oh, this is what this person said. Oh, this is what this person did. Oh, this is how he said it. And then you look at it. These are the words that that made me. And then you say, oh, this is the thing that this is what is in my mind that is affecting me. So what you do is, now you have to check out those things. When you check them out, you go through it. You check them out. When I mean check them out, you look at it. Oh, how has this thing affected you? Oh, how has this thing silenced your voice? Then you do the opposite of it. When I mean do the opposite of it, if the person says, oh, you don't know anything, you tell yourself, I know something. And then you start speaking to yourself, oh, these are the things I know. Oh, these are the things I can do. And then if a person says, oh, I don't need your advice, then you go to a friend, you go to someone and say, oh, can I advise you? And the person will say yes. And then you advise the person, and the person will be like, oh, wow, I like your advice. That will boost your self-confidence. That will reduce the emotional trauma that person has put in you. The reason why people do that is because they don't see the value of that person. A man that genuinely loves you will always want to listen to you, always want to heed your advice. And that is why I always advise singles to always learn to depend on God. Because if you're entering into a relationship, it only takes the grace of God to stand. And if God is not involved in that relationship, that is what actually leads to emotional trauma. But when you put God in that relationship, and when I mean put God, you ask God, you seek God. God, is this relationship meant for me? Should I be in this relationship? And then if God says, oh, you can be, a sign will come. And if he says, no, you cannot, a sign will come. All you just have to do is to be watchful and wait for his time. If the guy is disturbing you, oh, please, I need an answer, tell him, God hasn't given me an answer, so I can't give you an answer. But for those who have, passed through it and, maybe committed that mistake of not seeking God and then enter into a relationship, this is the best advice I can give to you so far. When you feel your heart is heavy, or when you feel, oh, you can't think properly anymore, it's like everything you are doing, you've been doing before, and then when you enter this relationship you stop doing, or when you feel, oh, you've lost your voice, or when you feel, oh, the potentials in you are gone, or when you feel, oh, you can't do this anymore, what do? Like I said before, you write down those things, you say the opposite of it, you affirm it to yourself, and then you pray for the Holy Spirit to help you. How I worked my out was, like I said before, when I came out of that relationship, at that point in time, I felt something was actually dragging me back in that relationship. Something was putting me there. But then I realized that it was a spirit that was putting me back in that relationship. I wanted to go out, but I couldn't. And the guy was this kind of person that he was so insecure about everything. So that gave me headache. Yes, it gave me headache. It caused me pain. Like I couldn't, do anything. In fact, sometimes I'll be so scared if a guy calls me. We are not having anything. No, I'm telling you my own real life story. We are not having anything. But because of that trauma in me, I couldn't, summon courage. I lost courage at that point in time. So what did I do? When I prayed about it, And then by the grace of God, I came out of it. And then the next thing I do was to pray about it, because each time I thought about it, I would always cry about it. I would always, blame myself. Playing the blame game is another thing. When you start playing the blame game, oh, you're not doing this thing right, oh, this thing that I did I not do it well for this person to be happy? Somebody that doesn't like you will never be satisfied with what you do for him. So, and then I now realized that, okay, I have to pray. I prayed to God about it. I told the Holy Spirit, I want you to remove this pain from my heart. I want you to take this pain away from me. And then I prayed that prayer for some days, and then I started seeing results. And then I started, going through marriage advice videos. I watched them. And then with time, God helped me. I started, my voice came back, my identity came back, who I was came back, my potentials came back. And then I discovered my purpose along my walk with God. So I will always advise everything, because I'll be ending this podcast now. So my advice to singles who are, aspiring to, who are in a relationship or are yet, especially those who are here, I don't want you to make the same mistake I made. So whatever relationship you have to do, you need to seek God direction, because it is only God who can help you. Seek his direction first. Ask him, God. So I'll advise you to bond with God, have this intimacy with him, draw closer to him. Let every decisions you make be the one. Let him be the one to make those decisions for you. Seek the presence of the Holy Spirit. And for those who are in such relationship but do not know how to come out, you need to also pray to tell God, if this relationship is not for me, let there be something that will happen that will remove me from it. And if that thing eventually happens, you need to have the discernment spirit to know, oh, this is what the Holy Spirit is trying to tell you. Instead of trying to amend it, you take it as, oh, okay, this is what the Holy Spirit is doing. That means he doesn't want me here. Let me go. Summon the courage. It's not easy, but you have to summon the courage to come out of it. Because if you eventually get married to that person, I've seen a lot of cases whereby the person told me, she saw red flags and then stuff like that, but she remained because she thought she was going to church. Someone who has red flag cannot change it. You can't change someone. You can never change someone. If the person doesn't, tells himself, oh, I want to change, you cannot change that person. If the person makes a decision, oh, I want to change, that is only when you can help that person. You can only help the person, not change the person. If someone says, oh, the person wants to be a thief forever, no matter the what you do or no matter the things you do, if the person has this, that person must be a thief forever, I don't want to use myself, because no, that person will remain a thief. But if the person wants to change, that is when you yourself will now come in to help. You can only help, not change the person. That is why you see some instances where you go to a person, you tell the person, oh, this life you are living, it's not good. Oh, this life you are living, it's not good for you. Then the person will be like, that is just how I am, I cannot change it. But then the day something happens, that thing that happened in the life of the person is what will make the person change. So if I'm saying, oh, this relationship you are in, are you sure it's God's purpose? Some people will be like, oh, leave me, he's so cute, he's so nice. It's not about being so nice, it's not about being so cute. But when you come closer to the person, when you get to know the person, and then you see those habits, and then you will decide to stay and say, oh, you will change him. My dear, you can't change him. You can only help him change. But you can't change him. It's just better for you to remove yourself from it. If you know yourself that he's not ready to change, just let him go. Instead of killing yourself. This life, you came alone. You can't sacrifice your life because of this particular person that refused to change. It's not as if he wants to, but he refused. So you cannot kill yourself. So it's just better for you to avoid those things. So when you find yourself in such situations, I've already mentioned how you will know if you're emotionally this thing. When you lose your voice. Sorry about that. When you lose your voice, you lose your identity. Your mind no longer produce amazing ideas. You feel scared, you feel lost, you can't open up. It's as if they shun you over everything. They make you look so they downgrade you, they make you look so inferior and others. That is how you know you are emotionally abused. So what you do, pray to God, tell God, let me come out of this relationship, help me, draw me out, remove me, and then help me heal from this trauma, and God will help you. Alright, so we've come to the end of this podcast, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. So I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.